it's Lisa. I'm going to do a 2-pager today with these 5 photos that I want to cut down to 4 inches. I have a couple of them that I had already cropped when I had them printed, and then these others I think will be fairly easy to cut to a 4-inch size as well. And we're going to use some 6x6 paper and do these big circles and then put the square inside. And the circles are going to be almost 6 inches. That's the size that the closest size that my Creative Memories cutters do, and I think they'll be the easiest to do the cutting with for these, since I'm going to be using just the 6x6 paper. Putting them on the silhouette and getting that lined up would be a little more challenging. So I'm just going to hand cut these. And then, so each photo will kind of float on its own little circle going through here. I want kind of a happy, fun page because this was a day where it was a work day. My husband had some work to do, but we also got to have some fun and go on a hike and have a really good meal. So I don't have photos of that, but I could talk about that in the journaling. For papers, I'm looking at Carpe Diem. I think the theme for this collection is just perfect for these. But I also want to look at Saturday Morning from Basic Gray because I really like the colors. I have a little bit of 12x12 from Basic Gray, but I'm mostly interested in the 6x6 pad. The embellishments and things that came with Saturday Morning don't quite fit what's going on here. I have ideas for that for another layout, but I really like the colors in this collection, these very happy colors. So I may mix this and use papers from both. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is pick out 5 papers that I want to use. I also want to look at this area up here where it says words. That's really going to be like some mini journaling cards. I could use, the full-size journaling cards if I had them, but I can also use some mini journaling cards out of the 6x6 pad to create an embellishment grouping here. I also have the stickers that go with Carpe Diem, and I think these may give us some opportunities as well. Let's see what we have. So you've got the little camera and the heart are always good things. The word today, right now, that's really what I want to capture here. And there's lots of little things that come with this. I think this was probably originally designed for planner pages, but it works well for scrapbooking too. So let's pick out some papers that go with these photos. I have some of the purple pinkish color looking here. I have some nature things, but I'm not really trying to do a nature look as much as I'm trying to do just a having fun day. So I really like that striped paper, and then I'm pulling out a few other solids. I'm also setting aside all of these things that have the little journaling cards in them. I know I'll use some of those on my page. I just don't know which ones at this point. And then these are some things out of Saturday Morning. I really like that cloud paper there. Well, I've got 2 cloud papers. I like the one that has, I think, the more realistic looking clouds. There was one there that had words on it, and by the time I put a photo over it and have it cut in a circle, you're going to lose the words. So kind of narrowing down the choices here of 2 different stripes. I think the one from Carpe Diem, because I'm going to use those journaling cards, is going to be the best match for these. And then I'm just kind of flagging a few of those cards, and we'll see those here coming up. So I've got my 5 papers, and then I can put those in circles and decide which photo goes on which one. I want my husband's photo and my photo to be on kind of bolder prints. And I debated on the ducks, and they ended up on the polka dot paper. And the waterfall ended up on that pretty cloud paper. So now pulling out some of these journaling cards, and some of them are kind of large, even in the 6x6 size. They were originally like 4 by 12 or 6 by 12 if they had been in a full-size page, but in the 6 by 6 pads they're a much more manageable size, I think. Now for background paper, I had some cardstock pulled out, but I went to my paper drawers to see if I had anything in pattern paper. I very seldom have 2 sheets of the same one, but I had these yellow printed backgrounds from Basic Gray. They came in my Basic Gray warehouse box from some collection that didn't match anything else that I got, but they're perfect for this. So they make a nice little tone-on-tone kind of background that adds some interest to the background without having it be too busy. And I'm looking for some washi tapes. I'm going to need some tape or some trim to go here on the left-hand page for the title to rest on. I really like to have some trim, I think. I've done a lot with washi lately, and my ribbons have been sort of left behind other than using them for cards. So I've found a ribbon there that I think will work out really well. I'm going to have to cannibalize a letter here to get the word work. Just take one of the K's and cut off the top and make another R. So it'll say work, and I have the ampersand in a piece of flare. It was the only piece left in a particular set of flare, so I got to finish that up. And these are some brand new letters. I think they were Amy Tangerine. They're new to me. I got them at Tuesday mornings. So the simpler trim there worked better, the aqua and cream. The oh yes has to do with the food. The food that day was really, really good, and my husband just loved it. So that's sort of where that's going. But I would like to make it a round embellishment, so I need something for it to rest on, and I'm going to glue it onto some yellow pattern paper from the same collection, and then I'm going to punch it with one of my punches, and I should have cut that out of the video where I was off hunting the punch. But it was, I didn't have a round punch that was quite the right size, so I used the scallop circle punch. Now in deciding how to do these circles, I wasn't sure how I would do them. When I arranged the sketch, I had them kind of fitted on the sketch or not hanging over the edge, we'll say. Or if I did, I didn't worry about bringing the other part that was hanging over onto the other page. But I think I want to do that here. And in fact, I end up moving the pink one that my photo's on over so that more of it hangs off. So I have enough to trim off and put onto the corresponding page. So I just glued the circle down, trimmed off the excess on the paper trimmer, and then glued it onto the page that it's supposed to go to. So we'll come back and we'll have a little piece of pink, and then we'll just match up the pages and glue that on so it's a match. And then the whole design continues across very well. We talk about all these kinds of things in the 2-page Terrific class, as well as dealing with situations like I usually have, which is only having one piece of a particular pattern paper for background paper. Now one thing I did that I didn't like too much, so I put too much glue on this trim, and it showed in the end a little bit. It doesn't really show on camera, but I can see it on the page. It's not that bad, but I didn't end up covering up the trim as much as I thought with the words and the embellishments I'm going to use later on. Some trims you can put glue behind them and you don't see them, and others you can't. You can, so this happened to be one of them. And we'll let the clothespin hold it until that glue dries. But I should have just had the glue on the back side where I wrapped around the edge and not on the front. Alright, I want to do a sticker. I'd like to do at least one on each photo. So I've got the hearts on our photos. I thought I'd do a little arrow to kind of lead us to the ducks, since it's not immediately obvious what that photo is. And that one's going to get a second sticker, so I can add a little bit of journaling up there. Most of my journaling is typed, and I used a trick that was in my last newsletter on how to do your journaling and then have the sort of a cutout area for your embellishment. If you don't subscribe to the newsletter, you can find the link to that on the homepage of my blog. I do one typically every couple months. I've been behind this year getting newsletters out, but I try to do something with a special video in it. And the last thing I'm going to do here is add a little bit of hardware to the page, and I either want I looked at enamel dots, I've looked at flare. I did add one piece of flare with a little bird on it. I considered buttons because I haven't used those in a long time. But I remembered that I have a bunch of metal pieces in this box. I just reorganized this stuff recently. My husband gave me some storage boxes, and I was showing you there real quickly. I have all of my trims, or my the little baker's twine and my metals and stuff in these boxes, and it's really easy to find things now. And these little triangles were some items that were in there that I'd bought at Hobby Lobby. I've added just a little row of enamel dots down here and some words for the ducks, bring food, and then glued these in place, and I think that wraps up our page. So we have our 5 circles with the 4-inch photos. I cut those circles a little bit bigger than what I'm showing here in the sketch because that's what worked with my particular circle cutter, and used some of the mini journaling cards that came with the 6x6 pad, added a little bit of flare and some ribbon. So let's take a look at some close-ups of the page. I tried to add at least one sticker to each of the photos, give a little bit of emphasis, and kind of part of telling the story. Just a happy, fun page for a happy day. So thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like using 6x6 paper pads and you want some more ideas for those, I have a class called Sensational 6x6 Paper Techniques, and you can find information about that with the link in the description for this video. And I also have other classes if you're interested in some of the different things. I have a 2-page class and some sketchbooks, and this will of course be in next year's sketchbook. So thanks so much for watching, and if you like the video, I hope you'll leave me a thumbs up, and I do appreciate all the wonderful feedback that I get on the videos. It's very motivating. Thanks so much.